Hello, and welcome back to episode number 2 of With Disadvantage. I'm your host, Chev. And with me today, I have the full crew, finally. Yay! And so we're going to go ahead and introduce each one of you. So I think we did some introductions last week, but I'll go ahead and just reintroduce myself again in case you're just dropping in. I'm Chev. I live in Saratoga Springs, Utah. I'm a web developer for a solar panel company. And I like to play D&D, so I'm new to it, new to DMing, but we're having a lot of fun with it. This is our custom campaign. It's called Echoverse, and after we introduce everyone else, we'll go ahead and do a recap of last week. Kayron, why don't you start? We'll just go in order of the characters up there.
Hello, my name is Alan. I live in Miami, Florida. I work at a parking company full-time, and I have been playing D&D for maybe a year or two.
Awesome.
Technically a year only, yeah.
So longer than me. Okay, that's it. Yeah. All right, Lulu?
Hello, I am Bunsen Gyro. My name is Logan. I play Lulu in the campaign, which is a slime bulk, which is a homebrew race of slime people. I'm majoring in computer science in college right now, specifically video game development, and I'm a senior in that.
Awesome.
And I definitely do not procrastinate on my assignments. I'm an A student. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I never did either. That would be bad. Shenanigans?
I'm Rainbow. I play Shenanigans. I live in Ohio, and I try to come up with ways to get the hell out of Ohio every day.
Have you tried blowing it up?
I hear there's a space program for that.
I tried going north to Michigan.
We're going to do the same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to get out of Ohio.
Wait, aren't you a goblin again?
Yeah, so we'll go over that in a sec. Have a beer.
You have a beer?
No, I have a rum and coke.
Yeah, ha. I'm LaPeach, and I live in Arizona, and I like to party.
You just moved from Maryland.
Yeah,
which is why you were gone last week.
Yep, just received a job offer out in Arizona, and it was about a 2-month delay, and so last week I got in my truck and drove about 4,000 miles.
Awesome.
Have you tried roasting it on the sidewalk yet?
I'm actually without a house right now. The housing market out here is brutal.
Well, you found good internet, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm just over at my aunt and uncle's.
Gotcha.
I've got relatives in the area, so they're letting me stay here until I can find a good house to buy.
Cool. Well, we're glad to have you this week.
Glad to be here.
Last week. Furlough?
Hi, I'm Boris, and I am playing Furlough Stabkins. A little about me, just keep busy. I manage retail for a living, and I enjoy gaming because it gives me a chance to stab people like I don't get to do at work.
He's on the red flag list, by the way. Don't worry about him.
What is your job description?
He's on all lists.
Yeah. I mean, the NSA is watching me like a hawk. Hi, guys!
Freya, you're next?
Yeah, I'm Dakota. I don't know what to say.
You can just introduce your character at the very
telecommunications,
least.
I guess. My character is Freya. I am a dragonborn, multi-class rogue and blood hunter.
Nice.
And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Welcome. Glad to have you too, since I missed you last week. And then last, El Sacapunto. How do you have a star on your portrait?
Because I took inspiration on my little character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I forgot I'd give you that.
So my name is Mirama. I live in Wisconsin. I work for UPS doing various jobs. And I've been gaming since I was a little kid and just recently got back into it and absolutely love it. I play the bugbear monk, El Sacapunto, and he likes to punch.
Yes, he does.
You also bullied me today. No, yesterday.
No, it's inspiring you.
I like that clever renaming.
All
The
right.
bugbear inspiration is very direct.
Okay, so before we get started, let's go ahead and recap what happened last week for those of you who were not here. And by the way, for the listeners, the characters that weren't here, we've decided to go with the option of just kind of pretending they were there in the background when they're gone, which is going to be a regular thing for some of us. Not all of us can always make every single session. And rather than make up some cheesy explanation for why they're gone every single time, we're just gonna they're just gonna tag along in the background. So Freya, Havabir, and Kayron have all been with the party this whole time. And what happened to the group last time was you guys all, I think the last time you were here, Freya, you got inside the Shenanigans spaceship, right?
Right.
Okay. So all of you were inside there and watched as the energy that surrounded Toro, your guys' home planet, started to coalesce on the upper atmosphere. Basically, you remember that the station that you guys blew up or helped get rid of, basically freed Tanith, was siphoning this energy off of the planet, and now without anywhere for the energy to go, it was coalescing and formed this hard shell around the planet that just got denser and denser until it kind of collapsed in on itself and the whole planet imploded. You guys got away. You managed to get to one of two other planets in the solar system. There was Terra and there was Torque, and we all went to Torque because that was Fitz's home planet, and convinced the party to go there. And Torque turned out to be entirely, or if not entirely, mostly artificial. The birds, the trees, everything there was all made out of some kind of alloy, some kind of bronze tan alloy. And so that's we spent a little bit of time there, learned a little bit about the structure there. It's ruled by a tiefling named Queen Vera, and we met Fitz's grandpa, I think it was, or uncle. I think it was his grandpa. Met him in his little shop, and you guys tried to take a long rest when the moon overhead exploded, and then you guys had to go see Queen Vera, who you guys, I think, all suspected something was up with her, although I don't think you guys can tell what. And then after that, you guys ventured out, and this planet, you guys noticed as you were on entry from the atmosphere, was covered in these giant skyscraper-like pylons. They kind of like just towers that all come to a point, and each one has a big blue sphere of energy on top of it. It's emanating energy into the upper atmosphere. And then all that energy was being siphoned up by 6 unique stations that all look just like Tanith Station, the one that was around Toril. And all that energy is just kind of being siphoned off these pylons into the atmosphere and then into these stations and then sent out into the center of the solar system. The entire party went up this tower, and you guys destroyed the tower. I think Havabir took his axe or his scimitar and swung it into the little central core up at the top, energy core, and put it out of its misery. And it stopped transmitting energy, and the sky above it cleared up. And then you guys all took a long rest. And then I believe after the rest, you guys watched as everything around you exploded into bright white light. Well, then after that, everyone woke up at the Rusty Pint, which is the local pub in Neverwinter, and you guys all watched Gundren come in and say, all right, listen up, and he gave you guys a mission to escort a cart of supplies from Neverwinter to Phandalin.
Except me, I wasn't there.
Except for Lulu, who finds herself in darkness at the moment. In fact, before we jump into the pub here where you guys are, we are going to start with you, Lulu. You find yourself in basically complete darkness, but you have all your memories intact. And so you don't know where you are, but you are free to try to explore around. Anything you want to try to do while you're in this darkness?
All right. So, am I able to get a sense of like my quote unquote body position right now?
Yeah. So you're able to tell like your shape, right?
Yeah.
You can feel that you're like this long rectangular shape right now. It feels very familiar to you.
Am I able to like try to press out on the sides?
Yes, you can. Go ahead and roll an athletics check for me.
Great.
Okay. All right. So you get all your mass together and you kind of push, but you realize it's hard to push because you're pushing out towards the like I said, it's a long rectangle, and you're trying to spread yourself really thin to press out on either sides of the the long ends of the rectangle. Would you like to change anything up and try again?
Can I try pushing on the other sides?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. So this time, as you go to push on the sides, you kind of hear this creaking, and then you hear this, and one of the long ends flies off as the the hinges that were holding it on are being warped by the wall that you're pushing outward, and the front of this little compartment flies off, and you're not met with a lot of light, but you do see some like some green and some red light coming from the far end of the compartment you're in.
All right. I want to get the fuck out of this compartment and reform myself.
Okay, so you pour forward out of the compartment, you form into your usual humanoid shape, and suddenly you are greeted with the very familiar surroundings of the lab where the party found you. Except this time it's in pristine condition. It's not full of water, the electronics aren't flickering and sputtering, and all the computers are active, and you can see there's a computer right next to you, and it has a big lever on it, and it says stasis field inactive.
I don't want to touch that.
Okay, so we'll leave you there for a minute, Lulu, while you explore the lab, and we'll go to the party. All of you, Freya, Havabir, and Kairon included, find yourself in the Rusty Pint. You sit up straight from the tables that you're at. You're all kind of spread around the bar. One of you is at the bar, Havabir. You're at the far left end of the bar, and all of you found yourself with your heads basically resting on the table's top in front of you. And you guys all lift yourselves up, and as you watch Gundren walk in, Gundren walks in, and he says, "All right, listen up. I need some help to escort a wagon load of supplies to Phandalin." And it dawns on you guys that you've been here before. Do any of you do anything specific?
Gunther, do you remember us?
Gunther?
That's his name.
Gundren?
Gunther.
I was like, Gunther.
We should just rename him to Gunther.
So you run up to Gundren, and he looks down at you, and you're just this little goblin again. You're no longer a pink slime. And he looks down at you, and he says, "What are you doing in here? Goblins aren't supposed to be in here."
Do you remember us? You hired us.
I didn't hire no one. No one's come up here yet except you.
He told us he wanted to go to this town. You hired us to take the dragon because you wanted to go ahead of us. But magic portals.
Can somebody get this goblin out of here? I don't think he's supposed to be in here. And this big guy stands up from the front of the door, and he just says, "What are you doing in here? I keep throwing you out, and you just keep coming right back in. How'd you get in here this time?"
I'm gonna wait for everyone outside.
You're gonna wait for what?
Approach.
Everyone outside.
Okay, so you go outside then?
So as I leave the door, I'm gonna cast a prestidigitation on the door. Yeah, I'm gonna make a sign that has the big guy's face and his picture on it, and it's to say, "For a free drink, spit on me." And it's gonna look official, and I'm gonna wait for everyone else outside.
Oh my god. I need an adult. Help.
You came to the wrong place to find one.
Maybe that's a kink, you know?
All right, so you create this minor
I mean, I'm
illusion.
not kink shaming, but just no. Just no.
I'm gonna wait by the buggy that I know they're all gonna go to.
Okay.
I'm gonna approach Gundren.
Okay.
I ask him, "So you have a job?"
Good. Aye. 50 gold to anyone who wants to escort my cart to Phandalin. I've got to run ahead with my buddy Sildar.
Well, you're looking in the right place, but you're offering the wrong price. My name is Havabir, and I'm formerly a gladiator of Myth-Nantar. I was known as the Death from the Depths. Triton Terror.
That's a fine tattoo you have there. He notices your tattoo on your forearm.
You see this bar right here? I earned this bar after I killed 3 orcs of the legendary Torn Skull tribe.
Impressive.
Goblins are no match for us. My companions and I will be happy to escort your load to Phandalin.
He kind of peeks around you after you say your companions, and he looks behind you and sees. How many of you have come followed Havabir? Any of you up to the front?
They're sitting down,
No,
so
not
I just
yet.
gesture to the table.
Oh, okay, so you just kind of gesture to the bar.
Is kind of standing by the wall, just kind of propped up, arms crossed, rapier just kind of loose at his side.
Okay.
I just kind of lean right to the side.
All right,
hold up my
so
face
nobody's
back.
obviously standing behind Havabir. So Gundren looks around and he says, "Your companions?"
Yeah, see over there. There's the bugbear, the furbolg, the dragonborn, and the tiefling. They're all with me, as well as the goblin. You're lucky he didn't kill you. If you had any idea how lethal that little son of a bitch was.
Yeah, okay, whatever. You know that it's only 50 gold, right? Not 50 gold times 6 people?
No, it's going to be 20 gold times 6 people, and we can guarantee you that your load will make it to Phandalin intact, regardless of what we come across.
Yeah, he kind of looks around and he's thinking about it. You go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
There we go.
Oh,
17.
Okay. So he thinks about it for a second. He goes, all right. I've got to get going, so that's fine. 20 gold pieces each.
Excellent. Let me go gather my companions, and we'll meet you by the cart.
Okay,
Before Gundren leaves, Sakapuno stands up quickly and just says a little loud to have a beer. Should we warn him?
Gundren said, warn who? Me?
And then I just sort of look around at everybody. You know, the goblins.
Oh, yeah. So,
Gundren just
Mr.
looks confused as
Rockseeker.
hell.
Mr. Rockseeker.
Yes?
We have heard reports that there is a very strong goblin presence between here and Phandalin. You and your companion would be much safer to come with us and accompany the cart. I understand that it will delay your arrival, but they'll kill you.
Yeah,
But you'll be
yeah,
very
they will.
safe with us.
So he just looks really confused. And he's like, and how do you know this?
We heard
We've
from a
done this a
companion.
few times.
The tiefling came from, and I point to Kyron. The tiefling came from Phandalin. He had to kind of fight his way through here. He knows that there's a lot of goblins up that way.
Start making karate fucking motions. Like,
I with the eye facing away from Gundren, I give Kyron a kind of a wink.
Okay, so Gundren's just really skeptical. He's not quite buying it. He's just like, let's go to the cart. I'll show you what you're
Okay.
escorting. He isn't really
All
taking
right.
you that seriously yet. And so he pushes his way past you guys a little bit and goes out the door, kind of gives a nod to the guy that threw Raz out. Are you guys all going to follow him?
Yeah.
Is anyone
and
not
I'm
going to
gonna
follow him?
I'm gonna make sure to spit on the guy on my way out through the door.
No, I'll follow.
I kind of want to see if I can grab something nice and like shiny from the guy that threw out our little goblin friend.
So you as you're walking by, you spit on the guy that's leaning
Yes.
against the wall. Okay, so go ahead and what kind of a roll should that be?
Intimidation.
Performance.
Yeah, performance. That's good. Let's do performance.
All right. 19.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so you as you walk by the door, you kind of catch this guy out of the corner of your eye, and then you stop, and he sees you start to look at him, and he gives you the eye back, like, the fuck are you looking at? And then you just like, and you just spit right on his face. And this loogie just kind of drips down off of his nose and touches his lip, and this enrages this guy. And this guy immediately stands up and he says, "What the fuck are you doing, stupid ass?"
I point to the.
Go ahead.
I draw Terso's teeth. I point to the sign and I say, "Give me a drink."
What does the sign say again?
For free drink, spit on me, and it has a picture of him on there.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. And he looks and he sees the sign on the door and he's like, "What the who put that there?" And then now he's just confused. So he's about to attack you, and now he's just kind of, "What in the world? Are you sticking around, or do you just go through the door?"
I just look at him and point to the bugbear behind me, and then I say, "You better hurry up with that drink."
Okay, roll an intimidation check for me.
Can I assist by giving him a nice snarl?
Yes, you can.
And
So
can I also
roll-
assist? Can I also assist by kind of just standing in the background, like waiting to like throw fists? It's like,
Okay,
Yeah,
so if she assists, does that give me advantage on the
yeah,
roll?
you get
Yeah.
advantage.
Okay,
Okay.
so the better of those is 13.
All right, so he's not scared of you, but he's also thinking that maybe it's not worth it to start something, especially because it's like the middle of the day, and so it's not peak hours for the pub, and he's got no one else on duty with him, so he's just like, "You get out of here and don't you come back."
You'd best watch your fucking self before you mess with my friends again.
Do you want this guy to fight?
Hey, he tossed out Raz. I wasn't very happy with them for that.
Oh,
And then I walked through the door.
By the way, I should have also maybe explained this better. The explosion that happened that reset time occurred exactly 14 days after this moment where you woke up.
Oh, okay.
So I see have a beer, and I walk up to him and go, I have a beer. I have an idea. Instead of saving
Yeah.
the world this time, let's rob a bank or two.
There's a few. I'm just gonna take a step out of character and say there's a few assumptions made in that statement that I would highly doubt Raz would grasp.
I mean, I have all my stuff that we had before, didn't we?
So,
Just say it.
okay, so Gundren's getting impatient. He's kind of looking down at this little.
No, I'm already
wristwatch he
filing
has.
toward the cart. I'm walking briskly in that direction.
He's like, come on, I gotta get going. And he shows you guys the cart. And as you guys start to walk up towards the cart, he kind of pulls back the canvas a little bit, and he shows you inside. He's just like, just general supplies for the general store, Barthen's Provisions. Just make sure they get there intact. And up here up front, there's some supplies for the oxen in case they get thirsty. And he shows you a bowl and then a canteen of water, a water skin, pretty large water skin, just ready to go. So if you need to feed them, or give them water, it should be pretty easy. And then he says, any questions? I gotta get going.
Yes. If there's no way I can persuade you to stay behind, at least bring the little one with you. And I gesture over to Raz. He is like I said, he is a lethal little son of a bitch. He's travel sized for your convenience, and he will keep you safe. He smells really bad, but just cover your face with something, and you'll be fine. We've gotten used to it.
And why is this goblin my problem?
He's not your problem. He's your protector. I look
My
back at Chiron.
protector. Don't make me laugh, boy.
I'm gonna teach him the goblin word for surrender. I'm gonna go, that's how you say surrender.
So you say the goblin.
Yeah, so he knows how to say it.
I look up to Dungren, just resigned in your funeral.
So you're not going to try and convince him any further of your story? Because if not, he's just going to head on then.
Yeah, I look over to Chiron. Chiron, tell him about the goblins.
Gundren looks over at Chiron.
There's goblins. Be careful. Please.
Gundren looks at Chiron confused, then looks back at you, have a beer, super confused, and then he just shrugs.
What I mean, let me explain better, is that you're gonna be walking. They're not completely out there. They're in ambush positions. I nearly got messed up by these guys. You need to be aware of your surroundings at all times, or you will succumb to them.
I'm gonna say to him, oh, if you see the black spider, tell him that we're coming for him.
A black spider? Where did you hear about the black spider, lad?
Oh, we already did this before.
Did what before?
This whole
And
thing.
I hit him with the flat of my blade and say, what he means is, we have heard of the black spider before. We're aware that he controls a lot of the goblins in the area, and like my colleague said, he's seen a few goblin ambushes, and because I'm interested in being paid when I deliver these things, I need to keep you safe. Otherwise, I wouldn't care.
He's listening to you more intently now, and especially he definitely perked up as soon as Raz spoke up about the black spider, and he's like, "Are you seriously wanting me to take him with me?"
I want you to take him with you, put him in the saddle, hang him from the horse. I don't care, but he.
Come on, lad. Come on, lad. He gestures to you, Raz, and he says, "Come on, tell me everything you know about the black spider. You and Sildar and me have to talk."
All right, I'm gonna go with them, I guess.
Yep.
Up to you. You're going
So
with
why
him?
don't you come with us so that we're all in a big party, because the black spider is kind of a big deal.
Lad, why would I have hired you to escort my cart if I was just going to go with you?
It doesn't matter because we're not gonna get paid anyway. Why don't you just come with us?
I grab him by the shirt collar, tell him, shut up, and put him up on the horse.
All right, so Gundren, confused as hell, just goes ahead and gets up on the horse, and he goes to catch up with Sildar, who's waiting down the road a little bit for him. And
This can only go well.
he heads off and kind of disappears out of your guys' view. And you guys are now with the cart again and can decide what to do. So let's real quick jump back to the lab. Lulu, you're walking around inside the lab. Everything is just kind of, there's some machines buzzing away, like just whirring away, like, think of, as a player, what a room of computers sounds like. It's not super loud, but there's sound. You can hear the fans of the computers and stuff going, and then you hear just a few little beeps and boops around the room. Everything looks nice and pristine in here. And as you're looking around, you suddenly feel a little motion moving in your belly, and you look down, and your belly just kind of ripples, and out pops Nelly. Just...
Yay! I was actually just about to, like, the first thing I was about to do was, like, wait, where's Nelly?
So Nelly pops out and basically just wants to check what's going on too, because he, she, it, whatever Nelly is just as confused as you are about everything. You're free to explore or do anything you want in there.
You got any ideas, Nelly?
Nelly just looks up at you, like she doesn't really have a face or anything, but you can kind of tell she's motioning up, like almost like if there was a face, she's looking at you, just like.
Do I see? I mean, outside of everything being not flooded, do I see anything different with the lab that I might recall?
I mean, it's very different. I mean, you recognize it, but it's very different because it's not flooded. Half the computers and everything were underwater the last time you were in here. And so you couldn't really see anything, and there was a bunch of papers and stuff underwater that had lost what was on them. But now they're all spread out nice and neat. There's a binder full of papers on one table. So there's basically like filing cabinets on the very westernmost side of the room, and then there's a row of computers on the the northwest wall, and then there's a kind of an L shape of computers coming out of the middle of that area of that wall. And that bank of computers is where there's all sorts of diagrams and stuff up on the screens. They're just kind of sitting there idle with different things on the screens. One has like a 3D model of what appears to be an ooze. Another one has a 3D model of a humanoid with this little part of it highlighted. Like this, it's almost like the internal part of the neck area is being highlighted anatomically on this display. And then right next to that one is the computer that has the stasis field that says stasis field inactive. It has a big lever right next to the screen.
Yeah, I probably don't want to touch that lever, huh?
Nelly kind of goes,
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna inspect that human on the screen with the neck thing.
Okay, so you get up closer to it. Everything is in common, so you're able to read it, and it this one just says specimen 337, and it has just a humanoid, and it just has you can't tell like what race it is because it's kind of just like a silhouette diagram of a humanoid, but then it has the neck part highlighted, and you very clearly see some type of organism that's like wrapped itself around the spine in this little diagram.
If I look at the Simvolk model, do I see anything interesting in there?
So it's not a Simvolk, it's just an ooze, it's just listing different properties about this ooze, its viscosity and its intelligence quotient it has right next to it. So I guess they're giving it some kind of IQ or how smart it is. It has a location of where it was found, a bunch of different stuff like that. And then it has one field that just says candidacy, and then it says unknown.
What color is this ooze?
It's blue.
Do I see any other information about this ooze?
Nope, not on the screen. It's up right now. There's just some very generic information about it.
Is it the same color blue as me, or is it not?
Yes, it is.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's hard to tell because it's a computer graphic, but yeah, it's blue like you.
Do I remember the planet that we were on? Can I like make a roll for just remembering the name that we were on just before this?
Oh yeah.
I'm a
sure.
little not smart.
Go ahead and do a history check for me.
All right. I feel like I should probably roll for this, considering.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not the brightest bulb in the shed. All right,
That's fair. You're not you didn't grow up on the planet or anything knowing its name. Okay, yeah. So you easily recall that it was called Toril.
Toril. All right. Can I look around this room for anything that has the word or the name Toril on it?
Yeah. So go ahead and roll an investigation check for me. Okay. So you go look around the room a little bit, and then you notice that just to the right of like the cubby holes that you popped out of, there is a little cart on wheels, and it has a little tiny like mini computer compared to the rest of these computers, and it just says ring control on it, and one of them says Toril Platform 13, and then the other one says Tanith Platform 1. And then the other one says Toril Platform 14.
Wait, I read that name at first. I'm like, feel like I've heard that somewhere. And then I'm like, oh yeah, the guy. The guy who was the space station.
Yep.
Is this? You said this is a mini computer, right?
Yeah, so it's like it's just a small little display. It just has those 3 options on it. And you can see that Toro Platform 14 is highlighted.
Can I press on it or anything? Can I interact with it?
Yes. Are you trying to touch the display?
Yes.
Okay, so if you touch the display, you'll notice. Which one did you touch?
Tanith.
Tanith? Okay, so you hit Tanith and it goes bloop, and it lights up green, and the green highlight moves from Toro Platform 14 to Tanith Platform 1.
It doesn't bring up any information?
No, it's almost like a toggle switch. Like you changed it from one to the other.
Can I try pressing on Tanith again?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna try press Tanith again.
Okay, so you hit it again, and it kind of just flashes the little button, and then all of a sudden the hole in the ceiling just opens up, and this bright light shines down on you, and then out of that hole in the ceiling shoots down a bunch of rings. They all stack up on top of each other. For listeners, if you've seen Stargate, it's basically like that. It's a ring transporter. So they come out of the ceiling and stack on top of each other. And then this light goes through the middle of these rings, and you vanish. All right, and we'll come back to you in a sec. Let's go back to the party. You guys are all at the wagon. Have you started escorting it, or are you even going to bother escorting it? What's your guys' plan?
I say we get the ball rolling, bros.
So, I feel like, just so we're all on the same page, we all remember shit going down. We know that this is probably not super important. But as I recall, didn't we find something in the wagon last time? And I start kind of poking around the contents of the wagon.
Okay. Are you looking for something specific?
I seem to recall we found some papers we didn't recognize at the time.
That's right. Okay. So you're looking specifically for those. Go ahead and roll an investigation check. Okay. So
8.
You rummage around the cart a fair amount, and you're unable to find. Not only are you unable to find the papers that you guys found the first time, but you're not even able to find the crate that had all the folders in it.
Hey guys, do you think something's missing here?
Yeah, I think maybe. I'm not entirely sure actually.
I open up one of the crates that I remember having the muffins in it.
Okay, you go open that one up. That one's right near the back, and you pop it open, and it's full of cornbread.
I say, ooh, muffins.
We're not doing this again. Zakapuno, stay out of the muffins.
I gingerly put the lid back, looking a little bashful.
I love that Havabeard just got sent through a time loop, and he still wants to get paid for the cart.
Honestly, that's
And I upped the price from last time.
what I'm
Yeah,
thinking
he
is like,
negotiated us a better deal.
That's like it's pretty good. He got us like a better deal that we'll never see again.
all right, but like, forget the cart. You gotta move.
My thought is, I have
Any
no
of you guys
idea
want to
what
help me look
happened.
for
I
those
just-
papers?
Okay. Yeah, I'll help you.
Okay, so go ahead and roll another investigation check with advantage. Okay, so you guys
Sweet.
rummage around the cart, and you're pretty positive this time that it's definitely not there.
Do you guys think Gundren took it with him this time? And if so, what changed other than he knows that we know a little bit about this black spider fellow?
That's possible. Maybe after he heard that goblins were ahead, he decided to take that with him instead of leaving it on the cart.
The other question is, do we think it's important enough to go after it? Or should we just head for where we found the squishy thing?
Are you talking about the old mansion?
Yeah, that.
I think that my personal thought is everything went south when Gundren disappeared. We spent a lot of time trying to recover him, and we figured that it's possible that the Black Spider was after him on a personal level. So my thought is that maybe a shortcut through all of these, through everything, would be to just make sure he doesn't get taken in the first place.
You know, I'm suspicious of anyone in power after everything I've been through, my family disappearing, everything like that. Puzzle me this. Why would Gundren suddenly take those papers with him after hearing the mention of the black spider. If he knew goblins were ahead, that seems like not something an intelligent man would do. But, we never found Gundren. Do you suspect
we didn't.
that... Did we find him?
No, I said no, we did not. I agree
Goblins
with you.
ate him.
Did they? Or is he
Probably.
the black spider?
No, he's not the black spider. We need to catch up to him, and we need to make sure that he doesn't go missing again. That'll save us a lot of work.
I
in the long.
mean, can we say for sure he's not the black spider if he disappeared before and now he's being really strange and take things that should be here that were here before are not here now?
We don't even know that they were here this time. We have no idea. This is deja vu on strength serum, and I'm just trying to figure it out, but crackpot theories are not going to get us anywhere. I think we just need to take this as it comes.
To be fair, you're the only person who's been on strength serum anytime in the next 14 days.
Not true. Raz is on it as well.
Yeah, but he ain't here right now because you sent him off, dingus.
Of course I sent him off, dingus. We need somebody to ensure Gundren's safety, and he's the most travel-sized one of us. What, am I going to ride on the back of his horse?
I figured you were the horse's ass anyway.
Would it be a good idea if maybe we split the group? One go after Gundren, the others go to deliver the cart?
Well, I feel like the important part of this cart isn't here. I say we say fuck the cart and we go find Gundren.
But if we don't
I'm
bring
going
the cart,
to escort the cart because regardless of what is going on, I've been paid to do a job.
You haven't been paid
to do a
shit.
job.
And
We've agreed to be paid to do a job. It's a contract. We are under contract, and I'm not breaking that contract over conspiracy theories and hypotheses.
I mean, the worst that can happen is our thing turns up nothing, and you still get to deliver the cart. I mean, you could go deliver the cart with whoever wants to go with you, and
you guys can go ahead. I will escort the cart and clean up whatever mess there is when it comes. But I am staying with this cart and getting it to Phandalin.
Sakapuno puts a hand on Havibeer's back and says, "I'll stay with the cart."
Great.
You really want that cornbread, don't you?
Sakapuno, that means a lot. Help yourself to some cornbread. I'm sure no one will notice.
I think it's just worth
Sakapuno
taking down.
flips the lid off of that cart and very carefully takes one little cornbread.
The lid goes flying through the wagon and hits the other end of the wagon.
But all right, so
cornbread.
like crumbs flying out of his mouth as he speaks.
Sakapuno is definitely a loud mouth chewer.
Oh God, the worst.
So then you three, Furlough, do you want to lead Do you want to lead Freya and Chiron to catch up with Raz?
At the very least, I feel like Chiron and I should go. Oh, if you are really concerned with the cart, do we think that the cart would be in danger of being ambushed?
I think that a cart with one person with it is plenty safe. I don't think that it's going to take much of a detail to escort it, but I think that by itself it invites thieves' hands.
Sakapuno cracks his knuckles and says, I can take a couple goblins again.
Yeah, you can't trust those self-driving carts to get there on themselves.
Okay, so Furlough, Chiron, and Freya, you guys are heading ahead of the cart?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to go catch up.
Do you guys have a plan to catch up to Gundren on horseback? Because that's what they're on. They're deliberately on horseback to run ahead of you guys.
Are they at a gallop?
Huh?
Could they ride one of the oxen?
Were they at a gallop?
Yeah, they were at a gallop. They may not have been
Okay,
sprinting.
so not a trot.
Yeah, but they headed out of town pretty fast. Like that was the whole point of them hiring you.
All right.
So that's out.
Unless you could steal some horses.
Even if
I'm not sure if
you
if you could ride the oxen, but even if you could, I'm not sure if you could catch up to horses.
even if you end up an hour behind, then it's better than what the cart will be.
I mean,
Raz can hold his own for a short time.
I'm sure we can end up tracking it by general direction, and then kind of if people saw him on the road, we could ask, or we could just try to get some horses ourselves, start heading out. I'm down for getting some horses.
You three are gonna have to figure that out.
Okay, so you and Sacapunto, you guys are gonna head out with the cart.
Yep, we're just gonna start going down the road.
Okay,
Yep.
so you guys start heading down the road. Furlough, Kayron, and Freya, you guys can figure out what you want to do. Let's jump ahead to Raz for a minute here. So Raz, you're trotting along on this horse, and you're finding yourself having a hard time hanging on behind Gundren here on this horse, and you've caught up to Sildar. Gundren's horse is brown. Sildar's horse is kind of a darker brown, almost black color. And as you guys approach this area ahead, this little kind of narrow passage, you suddenly notice that there's weird wavy, like a wall of steam almost in the way as you guys approach the passage. Do you say anything to Gundren or Sildar?
The passage here, or?
So you're on the trail. We'll say right there. There is a narrow area where kind of the sides slope upward, and there's like some bushes down towards the bottom of the slope. On either side is full of bushes, and right in between those bushes, there's like this wall of steam. Like, have you ever seen heat, like distorting the air from a barbecue grill? That's what it looks like. This big wall of wavy distortion.
I'm gonna point and say, "There's the heat wave something there."
So you put your arm past him in front of his face?
Yeah.
Okay. So Gundren says, "Aye!" And he looks forward. It says, "Sildar!" And he points forward, and Sildar's like, "Ah!" And he goes, "Whoa!" And he slows his horse down, and then Gundren follows suit, pulls back the reins, and slows his horse down, and Sildar turns to Gundren, and he just says, "Another one, Gundren! See?" And then Gundren says, "Aye, I see it."
I see it 3.
Okay, so they hop down off their horses, and they kind of walk up to this wall, and they're kind of just studying it for a minute.
I'm gonna hop off. I'm still gonna stay by the horse and look at them.
Okay, you're just gonna watch them?
Yeah.
All right, so you watch, and they're just sitting there talking, and Sildar just says, "I wonder what's on the other side." And Gundren says, "Don't be crazy. Don't go through it. You know what happened last time. You yourself said people keep going missing." And Sildar is like, "Yeah, but it's so tempting." And he's like, "Well, I guess we better go around it." And so he starts to walk around the distortion. And Gundren says, "What are we gonna do about this? This is in the way. Anyone passing through here is going to hit this. Have you found a way to disrupt them?" And Sildar's like, "I don't know how to disrupt them. We can try throwing stuff through it."
I'm gonna yell at them. It's not our business. Let's keep moving.
Gundren turns around, and he just says, "Well, this is the only way through. We have to go around a long way around the hills to get through a different way."
It will be safer than traveling through some kind of strange mist.
He thinks for a minute. So they stop there, and they both are just thinking about it for a minute. Let's pause on you and go over to Lulu. Lulu, you're still in mid-transport, and suddenly you find yourself materializing in this translucent, very familiar translucent green room. Do you have dark vision? I don't think you do you?
I do not. But also, where's Nellie?
Nellie never left you, so he's still with you.
Okay.
It's still with you, whatever it's called. And so Nellie is with you, and as soon as you materialize, she kind of pokes out. I'm just going to call her she, okay?
Okay.
It might be with something else, we don't know, but it seems like a she.
Did you just
Usually.
assume that Slime's gender?
I sure did. Email
Yeah.
Chev at chevtech.io.
Yeah, legit. I sure did.
All right,
wait,
so,
I have a question. They're on horseback, right?
yes. Well, they were.
And I've
they
seen
just
this
hopped on.
horse.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna add that to my notes of things I can turn into.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So yeah. No, so Nellie pops out and she kind of just pokes her little weird little elbow-looking nose that she's formed out to just kind of look around. She's like, and then she goes back inside. Without dark vision, you can barely see and hear. Everything is super dim and super quiet. You can really see the stars though, without any other lights bouncing off the walls. So you can really see the stars and the planet below if you're really concentrating.
Do you think I might know the layout of this area well enough to navigate it without seeing very well?
Probably. It was pretty
Is that something
straightforward. It was just a set of concentric ring hallways, if you remember.
I'm gonna see if I can quietly, as quietly as possible. Not trying to draw attention to myself. See if I can get back to the console at the northernmost point of the station.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check to start.
All right.
Okay, so you creep around pretty quietly. Not having feet really helps you out as you kind of creep out the only exit from the ring chamber at the center of the station. You see behind you as you look around that big column of rainbow energy being funneled up from the bottom of the station to the top of the station. So it's kind of siphoning in all this like vaporous-like energy at the bottom, and then it's pulling it upwards through a conduit and then shooting it out as a refined beam out into the center of the solar system. And you can see that clearly happening now. Without any other lights in the station, the only light you have is light from outside coming through the translucent walls. So it's kind of pretty actually as you're moving around. But yeah, so you move out into the first concentric ring hallway with ease. Nothing seems to be impeding your way. You remember that you need to go right in order to get up to the control area on the northern side.
Okay, I'm gonna head over there quietly.
Okay.
Basically, I'm trying to see if what's his name, Fitz, is there.
Okay, so far nothing. You're in the hallway there.
All right. I'm gonna continue towards the console.
Okay, so you continue up this way. Roll me another stealth check.
Oh,
Nice. All right, so you suddenly feel a little rumbling at your feet, and this orc-looking thing forms out of the floor, and just kind of slowly starts marching in your direction. And you're wondering if you did something to set it off or something like that. It starts wandering, and you press yourself up against the wall. And to your surprise, in the dark, you blend in really well, even though you're blue and it's green. When you spread yourself out so thin, it's really hard to tell the difference. And so you make yourself this perfectly glossy surface on this wall as this orc walks within inches of you.
Whew, okay. Maybe Nelly helps a little bit with the tinting.
There you go. Yellow and blue.
Color theory. Can I move along the wall like this?
Sure, yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna do that this way.
Okay, so far nothing. You don't see anything.
All right, do I see anything over here in this corner?
So as you round that corner, you can see it's still really dark everywhere, but the outer ring is always brighter since the light has to travel through fewer walls. And so you can see the bright outer hallway, and you clearly see the control panel and everything that's jammed into the floor. As if you were to keep going north.
I'm gonna see if I can look around left and right.
That way
this
and that way. Okay.
Yeah, make sure that there's nothing that can see me as I try to move to the other wall.
Okay.
Right over here.
Roll a perception check.
can this pet a system or no?
It's not a pet. It's a person, possibly. It's a proto-person.
Well,
Well, can this proto person help him assist him or no?
we haven't said that. That's
Well,
just
I
an
think-
assumption you made.
It is an assumption.
Okay, so you look left and right. You don't see anything, but you do hear sounds. As you're looking carefully and trying to be extra quiet, you hear sounds, and you just hear, oh, what could have gone wrong?
All right, I'm gonna try to stealthily move over to this wall, moving along the floor the way I am against the wall.
Okay, roll a stealth check. Okay, so you're not as stealthy as you could be, but you don't seem to draw anyone's attention as you cross this hallway.
All right, I move along the wall to this corner right here.
Okay, roll me one more stealth check. Okay, so you easily move along that wall, and you see, as you come into the room, you see Fitz just working away on the side of this console. He's got the side panel open, and he's just going through and all these wires and stuff that he's got ripped out of the side of this console. And you see on the console display, it just says stasis field active, and then it says integrity 98%, and then it's red. It's got a minus after it, and it's red. The text is in red, and you just hear him saying, "Oh no, what could have gone wrong? What could have gone wrong?" He's just rummaging through this side panel in this huge console.
Hello again, Fitz.
So you say hello again, Fitz, and suddenly he goes, what? And he turns and he's like, "Oh, you! What was your name again?
Lulu.
Lulu! I'm so glad to see you! I didn't know what happened to you all! I don't know where you were before you found me! Clearly we've gone back in time!
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm glad to see it. You remember what happened?
And he's like, I remember, but I don't remember why this console's malfunctioning. And he points to it, and you see the red number go from 98 to 97. Boop.
Wait, were you here for days on end?
That's what I'm trying to say. Something's changed.
What's changed?
He just says that stasis field never failed like this. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to find the component that's failing.
Well, I guess you have another chance. I guess. Right?
He looks at you confused. Another chance for what?
Anyway. Lulu is clearly a little confused as well.
Yeah, so is he.
Anyway, I came from a lab thing that teleported me here. I snuck through the station here. Trying to see if I can find you.
Yes, just like before.
Yeah. First of all, do you know why there are things in the hallways here, like work-looking things?
That's the self-defense program.
Would you be able to turn that off while you're...
I already made it friendly to other Signvolk.
Oh. I suddenly feel a little stupid for sneaking around. Even if I did so coolly. I learned this really cool trick even, trying to avoid them. Check this out. And I like do the wall thing again.
Okay, so well you press up against the wall, roll a performance check.
Alright.
Okay. So you press up flat against the wall, and you like blend in, but not quite as well because it's brighter out here. So it's clearly obvious that there's a blue surface on this green wall, and you're just like, check this out. And he looks at you and he goes, oh, that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
He's clearly trying to feign interest.
Can I roll my own perception check to see if I can tell?
I just
Sure.
kind of imagine him being like Lulu being like Stewart from Mad TV. Look what I can do!
Look what I could do! No, let me do it.
Oh.
I'm gonna say that I don't tell that he's faking it.
So you can't really tell if you're right. You can tell if it's sincere or not. You do get the suspicion it might not be sincere, but you can't tell for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll leave you two chatting there, and let's jump back to you, Raz. As you are watching Gundren and Sildar talking, they're debating what to do. Suddenly, the bushes around you guys rustle, and you notice a goblin pop out with a bow and takes aim. And he fires one arrow straight towards Gundren, and Gundren notices just in time and pushes Sildar out of the way, but Sildar loses his footing, falls backwards through the distortion, grabbing Gundren's arm as a last desperate measure to try and right himself, and pulls him and Gundren through the rift.
I go, I don't give a shit, and I'm gonna turn into a horse, and I'm gonna run ahead.
You're gonna run into the distortion?
No, I'm not running on the path I wanted to go to, and they were debating.
Oh, so you want to go the long way around?
Yeah.
Basically, you need to go like way out here, and come back around, and then you can meet up with the trail farther. But there's this big hill right there. There's like a giant hill right here on the side, and so you can go around it.
Alright, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go around it as a horse.
As a horse, okay. All right, so you turn into a horse and you begin running that direction. Now let's go back to the cart. Furlough and Kayron and Freya, did you guys decide to do anything?
Yeah, basically sprinting ahead, trying to make up some distance. Meanwhile, while we're sprinting, I go ahead and I cast Find Familiar, and I create a hawk that flies up ahead, keeps about 100 feet up and away from me, and I can actually see through the familiar, so I can keep an eye out on the long road ahead.
All right, and you said you can see through its eyes. Can you control its actions or just see through its eyes?
Yes, I can control its actions, and I basically just keep it about 100 feet from me and up in the air.
Okay.
Can you make it poop on someone?
I mean, technically, I probably could.
I assume you're channeling while you're looking through its eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you send it up there and you scope it out, and it's probably getting to be about 3 in the afternoon now. You guys have been figuring stuff out for a few hours. Rise has gotten quite a ways ahead. And you can see in the distance the place where you guys were ambushed, but it's super far away, but you can definitely see the narrow passage. You can't see anything else in fine enough detail to know anything, but you definitely can see the passage. And then that's it. I think that's all there is to notice from that perspective.
All right, let's keep going, guys, and we press on ahead.
Okay. And you
Yep.
guys going ahead of the cart, or
And-
did you decide to just go with the cart at this point?
Going ahead.
All right. So the three of you go on ahead, and Sakapunto and Havamir, you guys are bringing up the rear with the cart.
Yep, I'm in the driver's seat, giving the ox. I mean, I figure it's. I'll treat it like a rental vehicle, so I'm giving the ox as much of the whip as I think is enough to motivate them to go fast.
I'm riding along at the rear, just keeping an eye on R6.
Eating more cornbread.
Eating. Well, no, I'm only eating the one.
Oh, okay. Only had one.
Only had one.
I was just gonna ask, how much faster is the horse than the wagon? Is it like twice as fast, or?
It's probably more than twice as fast. You guys went ahead
Probably
pretty
quad,
fast.
probably
Yeah.
4 times as fast. I'll bet the cart trudges along at 5, maybe 8, since I'm really laying into those oxen, and I'll bet the horses are, between 20 and 24 miles per hour to light gallop.
And I am making a beeline straight for the lab.
Okay, so you left the trail. You find it's really rough terrain, so it's taking you quite a while to make your way this way, Rainbow or Raz, whatever your name is at this point. It's taking you quite a while to make it through this area, which is why the path most traveled is this way. But you're able to make it through, but everyone catches up to you by a fair amount before you are able to make it through that passage. And so, what's your passive perception?
Well, my question would be, how would they know that I went that way? I didn't leave any clues or anything.
Well, they're not to the point where they would even know you split off
Oh.
yet. I'm just
Okay.
saying that they've made progress on catching up to where you were. Let's see, your passive perception is 12. Okay, so you can probably hear. Are you guys periodically shouting his name? Furlough,
No.
Kayron, and Freya. Are you guys like trying to shout like you're catching up to them, or are you just running ahead and seeing what you can see?
Just keeping going, and occasionally I'm pausing to look through the eyes of my familiar.
Okay. So as you get closer, you are able to see through your familiar that the horses that you guys are familiar with from the past, Gundren and Sildar's horses, are laying sideways in the trail ahead.
Well, this looks familiar.
Wait, they're laying sideways?
And I communicate that with the other two, like, hey guys, horses are sideways again, so it looks like something's already going on. I don't see any sign of Raz, though,
They all got
or
drunk and
Gunner
fell
and
over.
Sildar.
As you guys get closer, you can see through your familiar. You're able to clearly see that they're riddled with arrows, just like last time.
Yeah, guys, we've got goblins in the area, and I have my familiar kind of patrol around a little bit, kind of looking for both goblins as well as any signs of a certain particular Raz.
Okay, so you definitely don't see Raz, but you do see with your familiar a wild horse running through the trees over this way. So I don't know if your character would notice or care about that horse or not.
Does that horse's coat look like raw sewage?
Wow.
Well, I comment to Freya and Chiron, do you guys know of wild horses in the area? Because there's another horse that isn't accounted for.
I mean, I'm not from the area, but wild horses in areas where there's wild horses would be a lot more wild, a lot more prevalent.
What?
Like, I'm not from the area, but I know that if there are wild horses that are in the area, you'd see them regularly. Have you seen them anywhere around here regularly?
Have I is a good question.
Maybe a history check?
That could be a
Red.
nature check, couldn't it?
Yeah, let's do a nature check.
Can I like lean down to the ground and like
21 on nature.
21 on nature. All right, cool. What do we get this?
Okay, so what specifically were you looking for? Are you trying to decide if there's wild horses in this area?
Like, thinking if I've seen wild horses in the area, and is that something that would be out of place?
So you don't know if it's necessarily out of place, but you've never seen them yourself. So maybe you get a feeling that might be, but not a strong feeling. Nothing's obviously out of place.
Right.
It is in full gallop.
You do see this horse stop for a split second as it makes it down the path, and it stops and kind of sits like a dog and like lifts up one of its legs. It starts examining its own leg very oddly.
Something doesn't seem right with that horse.
The horse
I
stands up and then immediately, instead of heading in the same direction that it was headed, it stops and does like a little circle around. And you realize as your familiar kind of swoops down that the horse is chasing a butterfly.
yeah, I'm thinking that's not actually a horse. I think our druid buddy's up ahead.
I think that I wouldn't chase that butterfly for long because I'm really determined to get the Fanlin in the lab.
Okay, so you stop getting distracted by the little butterfly, and as you're about to get closer and meet up with the trail to head towards into town, when suddenly you see something off in the distance. So like if you're looking up towards the sky this direction, you see this little sparkle, it's a clear blue sky, no clouds, and you see this white little like flare, like sparkle that's slowly starting to get bigger.
That's in the air that I'm running towards, or what?
Yeah, it's just off in the distance, so you can see it. You can keep going where you're going, or you can stop and watch it for a sec. It's up to you.
No, I'm too determined to get to the lab.
Okay, so you go
As
ahead
long
and
as
keep
it's
going.
not in my way, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay, and then while you're doing that, the three of you, Furlough, Kayron, and Freya, you guys finally come up upon the horses, and just like last time, they're riddled with arrows. Only this time, there doesn't seem to be any sign of goblins in the bushes off to the side, and you do see like this wall of distortion in the middle of the path. And as you guys start to watch it a little bit closer, you kind of just watch it dissipate, and then the air clears up.
So wait, you're saying the horses are on their side, right?
Yes, they're dead.
I want to roll to find out like what killed them. Like I want that.
They're riddled
really
with
bothering.
arrows.
Yeah.
So probably cancer.
So I rolled it out. I rolled it out. I have my hat. And I go.
Razmith has a
definitely cancer.
druid, but he
killed
got
them.
his cleric degree from WebMD.
Oh, sorry, with the arrows. So they're little. They're littered with. I can't talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're riddled.
Riddled with arrows. Can I roll an investigate? I want to roll an investigation. Find out like if the arrows have like a specific angle to see where they would come from. That thing.
I think that you've now just become the,
you can do
the
that.
official silly person of the party.
You wish, Rainbow. You're able to investigate with your very superior investigation skill. You meticulously, you get down like Sherlock Holmes. You're like examining the arrows, the angle of the arrows, and you're looking left and right, and you stand up and you're like, yeah, I think they were shot from 2 feet over here in this bush.
They were shot by cancer.
The X-rays. The X-rays.
That's just the name of the goblin that killed him.
Yeah, so it was very clear that the horses were riddled with arrows from like 2 feet away from the bushes on either side of where they died.
So I informed the other two. So 2 feet from here, arrows shot from these bushes. Don't know who did it, but we need to find Gunther.
Gundren.
Gundren.
Dungren, Gunther, anything but Gundren.
It's getting a little bit more fishy that they're not here. Their horses are dead. They could have staged this, my guys. They could have staged this.
Okay. When you were looking around, did you see any sign that their bodies went anywhere?
No. Well, I want to know actually because I didn't roll for that either. You could roll for that.
You gonna investigate?
15.
Okay, so
Hold on.
you're looking now around and you're trying to figure out what happened to them, and you see footsteps where where they would have hopped off the horses, and the footsteps walk slowly at a decent pace up to where you saw that distortion fizzle away, and then they just stop.
Footprints leading up to some weird phenomenon. Do you guys think they fell through one of those rifts?
Or did they go through it themselves?
Freya pipes up and says, "Well, it's entirely possible."
So they may or may not be dead. Have a drink is not going to like this.
Have a drink. Speaking of, as you say that, you see them approach on the horizon behind you guys. They're still a ways away, but you can now see them in in the distance. They're getting closer.
Can I spot the dead horses?
No, you're too far away.
Okay.
And they're all standing in the way, too, so you could probably spot them. They would look like little
Okay.
ants from where you are, but you can see that there are people in the trail.
I take a moment since I see them coming up to go back through the eyes of my familiar through my hawk, and I take a look around and I see if I can spot any sign of the goblins or anything that we suspect are in the area.
So as you're looking around, go ahead and roll another investigation check for that. And while you're looking around, you definitely can see that there's a clearing in the middle of the forest. You don't necessarily suspect anything of it. And then you can see that there's kind of a walkway that leads towards that clearing, like a little path that's where there's probably some sort of regular travel, but you can't see anything else. You still see the horse, though, approaching the road over there. And speaking of which, Raz, as you approach the trail over there, suddenly that bright light in the sky gets much brighter, and it gets bigger and bigger and comes down in front of your face, right up in front of you, until you notice it's this little fairy-looking creature, and she's right in front of you, and she just says, "Hello, Raz."
Let's say, can she communicate with you in horse form, or?
So you can try to talk.
I'm gonna say, hello.
So you say, "Well, hello," and it comes out as, and then and she responds, and she just says, "Hello."
I'm gonna transform into human form for a moment and say, hello. No time to explain. I gotta go find shenanigans.
So as you transform, I need you to. In fact, I'll just do it for you. I will explain this later, but basically, as you try to transform back into a goblin, suddenly your horse form kind of gets this weird gooey tinge to it, and this like pink sheen comes over your body while you're in this horse form, and you basically turn into a horse-shaped pink goo, and you just kind of splash onto the ground into this puddle of pink goo, and you're unable to control yourself for a moment as you just kind of flattened out on the ground, and then so the little fairy kind of floats up to you, and Raz! Oh no! And that's it. Well, let's actually take a break from all you guys and go over to you, Lulu. It's been a little bit. Lulu, you and Fitz are having a conversation, and Fitz is just finished explaining to you that this problem never occurred before that he's trying to fix right now. The station exploding later was caused by the moon Omar exploding, and he didn't know why that happened, and still doesn't know why. But this issue here never occurred. I don't know what's gone wrong. I don't know why the machine is different this time. If we've gone back in time, shouldn't it be the same?
I would think so. Would you be able to come back to the lab with me so that maybe there's something at the lab that you can take a look at?
What lab are you referring to?
I became me in a lab, and the lab had those ring things that took me here.
And why would I go there with you? We gotta fix this here now.
Because you're a smart person, and maybe there's something there that might help you with this.
No. We need to fix the stasis field. You want to lose Tanith again?
No, I was thinking that maybe there might be something there that might help.
Roll a persuasion check.
I'm not even sure myself, but it's just a guess.
All right, so he thinks about it for a sec. He looks back at the console. He doesn't know what's going on. And he just says, "Well, I've done everything I can here. I guess let's go to the lab." And he starts to come follow you. Lead the way.
All right, but there's one more thing.
I turn around and I offer feedback, right?
Yay! He jumps up and climbs up on your shoulders.
Alright. Knowing that the defenses around the station are not to attack me, I don't bother being stealthy. I just head back to the rings.
Okay. Yeah, so you walk back. You pass a couple of those orcs that are just walking around. They're very robotic the way they walk. You've reasoned at this point that they are controlled by the computer program that's running, and so it's like not really Tanith that's in control. So as you guys get to the ring platform, you get there, and Fitz pulls out the little tablet device that he's still holding on to, and he hits a button on it, and the rings pop out of the floor. They stack on top of each other, and then you guys vanish from view. You guys suddenly find yourselves materialized back in the lab, which I found the map for, yay. So you guys are back in the lab, just materializing from the ring platform. Okay, so yeah, you guys find yourself back in the lab. Everything is clean. You see the little computer. It's this little screen right here. I don't know if you can see that little computer right there. That's what you pressed on the little screen to change the rings.
All right.
And so you can see it still says Tanith Platform 1 on that screen. Fitz walks around and he's like, "Wow, this is quite the place. This is technology I've never even seen before."
I go over to the little cubby holes and I point at the one that I came out of, and I'm like,
Oh, this is where I came out. Look, it's me-shaped.
and I turn into the shape of the cubby.
You turn into this big rectangular brick and fall on the ground, and he's like kind of jumps back just slightly, like, "Whoa, wait, they found you in there?"
I reform and say,
Yep.
So you literally just woke up yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, so he finally understands what you've been saying the whole time. And he turns over here and he sees this display that says stasis field inactive. And he's like, "What's this do?" And he throws the switch, and it says stasis field active. And you hear, "Fucker." And your body in the brick shape immediately kind of gets this electric like current that flows over, and you can no longer control your form.
Fucker.
He's looking around and he's like, Have you pressed this lever before? What does it do? It doesn't seem to do anything. Hello?" And he takes like the big antenna part of the tablet thing that he's holding and he kind of pokes you with it and realizes you're a solid brick, and he's like, he puts two and two together after a moment. Oh, and he pulls the lever and frees you from stasis.
I thought you were the smart one.
I should have known that was a Simevolk stasis field. Perhaps this display that says Simevolk stasis field should have been my clue.
I reform myself, by the way.
Okay, a little yellow brick shape pops out of your belly and hits the ground with a clink, and then slowly forms back into a blob shape, and Nelly just goes and then gets back up inside.
I want someone to draw that a picture but as a Lego.
That would just literally be a picture of a brick.
I'm a brick.
Alright, so you guys are back in the lab, and Fitz is intrigued. He's never been in this lab before, and he's running through and looking at all the different computers, and he's learning a lot more about Simevolk than he ever even knew. He already knew how to basically control the metabolic structure of a Simevolk, but he's learning how they were made, and suddenly you guys are there for probably about an hour as he just goes through this stuff, and he keeps looking back at his little tablet, which you notice now has the same display as the computer on Tanith Station, and he's clearly watching the integrity field as it's still falling. It's now down to 87%, and so he keeps glancing back at that, and then glancing back at the computers, and suddenly you see his face like wide, like his mouth goes wide, and he's just kind of like almost disturbed looking as he's looking at this display, and you recognize, Lulu, that he's looking at the specimen list and realizing that tons of these Simevolk were not just even made naturally, but were formed using humanoids infested by some kind of parasite.
I get between, well, not directly between, but like adjacent to his gaze at what he's looking at, and just noticing his face, I'm like,
What's the matter?
Fitz looks down and looks back at you, and he says, Do you know what specimen you are?"
do I know what number I am?
I don't know. Did you find out?
It was mentioned in the prior
No, like,
timeline.
as a player I know, but I don't know if this Lulu knows.
I think
Would
you
it
do
be
know
on the
if you
little
found
chute
notes.
that you came out of?
Yeah, so would have been able to see the number on the cubbyhole you came out of. I think you did find
457.
out. Yeah, 457. And so he looks, he flips the screen, he types on the little keyboard, and then suddenly it pulls up specimen 457, and he says, "It looks like you're." What did we decide to call it? Absorbee? Or what did we?
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, your previous, you were a Tok'ra. A Tok'ra.
Gesundheit?
Apparently you were a Tok'ra named Nata. Do you have memories of being this Nata?
I don't think so.
May I make a history check? Try to see if I remember anything?
Sure, yeah. Roll history check. Okay, so you think real hard, and you get this very vague impression of that name, but you can't remember if it's just because you've seen it in the lab before, or if it's something else. But you don't really recall anything else useful.
Nope, nothing at it.
It says, well, you're apparently one of the lucky ones. You were the last organic specimen. You were the last natural specimen. You were allowed to form naturally. It appears the black spider discovered that Symvolk can be created from sentient creatures and oozes. And you were the last one that he did naturally before he started using artificial means to accelerate the process. Apparently you were consuming a sentient creature for 3 months.
And you say that in common?
Never mind. You probably don't want to know anyway. And so he...
No what?
Nothing. This isn't helpful anyway. And he comes over here and starts looking through this computer. Alright, while you guys are doing that, let's go back to the party. Raz, suddenly you find yourself able to form again, but you are now the pink Symvolk that you remember being before. Shenanigans. And you suddenly have only the memories of being Shenanigans. So you can only remember up until the point where Torque exploded, and then suddenly you woke up right here in this path.
And I can talk and everything. I'm in human form.
Yeah, you're now Shenanigans again, but you don't have any memories from Raz. You don't remember what you've done up until this point. You only remember any time that you were Shenanigans.
Do I know who Pixie is? The fairy is?
Yeah, so as you form back into Shenanigans, and you're like, what's happening? And you're looking at yourself, and then you look up, and you see this fairy again. And she says, Raz, are you okay?
I'm Shenanigans, I guess. I don't know.
Shenanigans? What happened to Raz? What'd you do with Raz?
I don't know. Some kind of time travel thing. I don't know.
And she takes out this like little wand thing from her like little waistband that she has, this little belt. And it's got this little star-shaped end on it, and she bonks you on the head with it. Will you bring Raz back right now?
I can't.
And she says, I've never seen anything like you before. Where's Raz? Or did you guys end up following the trail to Raz, or are you guys still standing by the horses? Furlough and Kairon and...
Well, the last that we left off with those characters, they were, I think, waiting for the quickly approaching cart to arrive.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll move on from you real quick, Shenanigans, and you guys catch up to the party. You guys are all together again.
Okay.
Feels so good.
Let me fill you in on what we've got so far, Habamir.
Shit.
Horses are all shot up. Near as
Yeah.
we can tell, the two guys we were trying to catch up to probably fell through a rift. And there's a wild horse that I'm suspecting was our diminutive goblin friend, kind of prancing off in the distance, chasing a butterfly.
Fuck, are you telling me that the people who are going to pay us and who are trying to protect fall into a rift while the guy sent to protect them is prancing around as a horse?
Are you at all fucking surprised? You said Raz.
Yeah, only because he's travel sized. I should have known that. They focus.
Yeah, you are not. You might be good at persuading people to cough up a few more coins, but you are not the greatest planner. No offense.
Oh, I'm glad you helped so much, Furlough. Next time we'll stick with what you say. Oh wait, you didn't say a damn thing, did you? What are we gonna do anyway? Send the bugbear on the back of the horse? Yeah, that'll work.
Sounds
I
like
flex
fun,
my arms.
honestly.
Second Fundo flexes his arms.
I you would be down for that idea.
I carry horse. I do not ride horse.
He carries the horse.
So, we need to catch up to that mansion because right now that's the only lead we've got. And I say, hang on, I'm going to take a look, see if I see anything new. And I glance back up at using the hawk vision.
And I'm gonna look at everybody because I still want to get paid for the cart. And and just ask, what is our goal here? What are we trying to do?
Well,
Trying to get
at this
paid.
point, good sir, I'd say our goal is, stop the end of the world
What makes you think it's gonna happen a second time?
because
Well-
shit's already happening.
I mean, yeah, we saw things blow up. It stopped. We ended up here. Why should we assume everything will end up the same way when it hasn't been going the same way? The papers weren't where they were supposed to be, and instead of being seized by goblins, this time our dwarf fell into a pit or a rift.
Maybe it's one of those things where like it happens the same way, the end result, but every time it shifts a little bit from what it originally was.
You know, we could sit here and continue to debate the
And the only way
ideas
to
of
stop this is
variances in timelines and shit like that. Or we can just get on with it. Because right now we need to regroup with Raz. We need to probably find our other slime fellow.
and we have no idea why he's running. It's probably a good idea to find out why he's running.
Okay, so I look at the cart and I'm gonna check it for anything valuable.
Now you're talking.
What are you
Let's see if we
checking?
can find shit.
What are you checking for?
I'm ready to abandon the cart because the furloughs convinced me that we do have bigger fish to fry, but I still want to get paid, so I'm checking it for valuables before I go.
I'm going to help him out.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation check with advantage then. Whichever one of you has the highest can do the roll. So you guys search the cart and you find about 50 rations in there that you guys are able to put away. So you can.
Okay,
you
let's
can keep them
pass
all
these
or
around. There's
divide
5
them
of
up.
us here.
Okay.
There's 5 of us here, so let's divvy these up. We've got enough rations.
Okay, so
I
you all get.
still say we should rip this entire shipment apart and keep looking.
Okay, you guys all split up about 10 rations each. As you keep going through the cart, you notice that there's one little box, and it's got it's almost like a jewelry box, like a modern jewelry box, except the fabric is definitely some kind of a weird canvas-like fabric. It's not as pretty as it could be, but as you open it up, you notice that there is this like amulet inside this necklace.
I use detect magic on it.
Okay, so you use detect magic, and you immediately see it glowing. Is there rules for detect magic? Like, do you see a specific color for a specific type of magic or anything like that?
I learned at School of Magic automatically.
So I don't know at school.
And then I will make an Arcana check to see if I can determine more.
So you determine there's definitely something magical about it. I don't see a school on this thing.
Yeah. So, but I do a
You rolled a
21 on a
21.
Arcana skill check.
All right, so you're looking at this thing and yeah, you think about it and you realize that you know what it is, and it's called a periapt of health. And when you become attuned with it, it will protect you from any diseases.
Ooh, this could be useful.
If you are already infected with a disease, the effects of the disease are suppressed while you wear the pendant.
I'm going to wear this, but keep this handy because if one of us gets ill, this can help stabilize us until we get everything taken care of.
Okay.
And I explain why I determined to the team.
I'm looking at how shiny it is and like, yeah, we can offload that to the next town. What do you think something like that is worth?
This is worth, in our line of work, far more than what the gold value is.
I see.
It's worth living. It's worth living.
Let me explain this to you. As I put the amulet on, as long as you are attuned to this, you cannot get sick. If you are already sick, the sickness fades until you remove it, or the sickness gets treated through other means.
All right, you're gonna have to show me how to tune into that.
I'm going to hang on to it since I am, of the group of us here, about the only one really in tune for magic. But definitely this is something that, if we hang on to it, could be of great use to us down the road, because Lord only knows what we're going to encounter this next fortnight.
All right, well, I blew a 20 gold job to walk away with 5 gold of rations. Let's go catch our friend. And so I'm gonna start running in. I'm gonna start running in Raz's jogging in Raz's direction.
Okay, so you guys don't actually know where he went, unless I guess Furlough, are you conveying that where the horse went?
Yeah, I tell them exactly where my familiar has seen the horse.
Okay, is your familiar still up there looking around?
Yep.
Are you? Do you look through it anytime recently, or are you still talking to everyone?
I was like, hey, let me see if I can get a situation update from it. And then I close my eyes and cast my view through the hawk.
Okay. So you look and you see in the trail, you very clearly see shenanigans. And not a horse, not Raz, but shenanigans.
I convey to the guys, well, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I no longer see a wild horse that seemed out of place. The bad news is we have shenanigans back somehow.
Damn it!
Shenanigans is standing in the middle of the trail, seemingly talking to himself.
Oh yeah, by the way, he's talking to his imaginary friend again.
Ugh. Blows a job, prances away, turns into a pile of goo, and now he's crazy.
Don't worry, comrade. Next time we somehow wind up magically back at a bar, I'll join you in that round of drinks.
Okay, so
Sakapuno pipes up real quick and just says, "Where is he? Let's go catch him."
All right, let's get going. And
okay,
I
so
lead the way.
by now it's starting to get a little dark as you guys approach shenanigans. It's probably about 7 p.m. The sun is definitely starting to disappear behind the mountains over there. You guys come upon Shenanigans, who's still just talking. He's just like, I don't know what happened to Raz. Who's Raz?
Hey, Shenanigans.
I'm gonna turn around and go, hey guys!
I'm gonna walk right up to Shenanigans and I'm gonna hold my arms out for a big hug and say, "Little baby, I missed you."
I'm gonna give him a big hug.
Sakapuno, you do remember he's toxic, right?
And I
never bothered her
hold
before.
him. I hold him for a second, and as I feel the stuff singeing in my fur, I just like and I try to let him go real quick.
And the Shenanigans, as you're like hugging her and stuff, you suddenly feel a bonk on the head from behind, and again you turn around, and that little fairy is still pissed at you, and she's just like, I don't buy your story. You tell me where Raz is.
Oh, maybe we can go see a doctor, and they can turn me back into whoever that is.
You bring him back. I'm not leaving your side until we find him.
That's
A
fine. I'm
doctor?
gonna turn around and say, we need to find a doctor to turn me back into whoever I was.
Are you feeling okay?
And
I cast Detect Magic
okay.
to see if I see anything weird, like some kind of hallucination spells or something.
You don't see anything.
Okay, so I'm not seeing anything arcane.
Do I
All
realize
I-
he's casting Detect Magic?
Nothing arcane, but I see something insane.
What components do you do to cast Detect Magic?
And I'm just going to
It looks
ask.
like it's verbal and somatic. So yeah, so you would have seen him
Right.
gesturing and talking.
I'm
so
gonna point to the fairy and go, why don't you detect magic on that?
you're pointing at the fairy?
Yeah.
Okay, so from your guys' perspective, he's just pointing at nothing. He's
Yeah, I
pointing
mean,
at
I would
there.
see it within 30 feet. if you could see it.
Fairy, get above my hand, and I'm going to say, cast it just above my hand.
I could see anything magic within 30 feet. I mean, nobody could magically sneeze without me seeing it right
Well,
now.
just do it.
I already am.
Now, Shenanigans,
Recast it.
is this fairy out here with us right now?
Yes.
So Glitters bonks you on the head again. She said, "They can't see me."
Well, maybe if he casts the detect magic, they'll see you.
No, they can't see me.
I could see any creature that even bears magic within 30 feet.
Stop talking about me. They already think you're crazy.
So you're saying they're too dumb to see you?
I'm saying
Excuse
I'm
me?
saying that either you're insane or whatever you are talking to is not magic in any known sense.
Chiron kind of like chips in and be like, are we really discussing the possibility of insanity when we've been through rifts in time, portals
Yes,
to other worlds,
yes, we
a
fucking are.
spaceship in the sky,
With
and then we're having a
diamonds.
do-over? Are we really discussing the possibility of
Yes.
insanity for
Yes, we are.
person?
So I just need to find a
For the
doctor
record,
right
none of
now.
us have spoken to imaginary friends. Let's just
So
keep
I
that
just
on.
need to talk to a doctor right now, or someone who might be able to magically transform me back to whatever I was.
See if the Furbolg's new trinket can do it.
Yeah, the problem is he I mean, we know he is a disease, but is he caused by a disease? I would much rather we get Lulu back because Lulu would probably know a lot more about that.
While everyone is talking, I take a half a ration out of my bag and I drop it into Shenanigan's head.
Okay. So you take it and
I just kind of watch this like, the fuck?
you take like this bread out of your bag and you break it in half and you drop it onto his head and
So So, what's this magic trinket you're talking about?
Real quick.
Oh, some necklace he says is too important to sell.
All right, so by the time you guys are all done here now, it's getting late into the evening, and we will pick up next week. Thanks, guys. It was a good.
Thanks.
It was good to have everyone here. Too bad we lost Freya.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Poor Freya.
Hopefully it gets all sorted out as soon as possible so that we have her to join on next Sunday.
To be honest with you, I kind of missed it when you make people disappear through rifts. I thought that was kind of funny when they weren't here.
Well, we can revisit it if you guys want to do that. It just seems so cheesy.
It kind of.
I kind of like the. I mean, I did the. It was funny the first 2 or 3 times, and then after a while, it did become kind of a cheesy narrative device. I like much better DM role-playing absent characters.
Okay, I like that better too. All right, well, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up the recording. For those of you listening, thanks for listening. Sorry there was no stream this week. There will be next week once we get our Mixer thing figured out. It's mixer.com/withdisadvantage. You can also find us on all the popular podcast directories: iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Alexa, you name it. So if you want to look us up, leave us feedback, leave us any reviews. We'll happily read your reviews on air as long as they're constructive criticism, and we will go ahead and take that to heart. So,
and if it's deconstructive criticism, we'll just laugh at you.
So before I close the recording out, I'm just going to say thanks to everyone for listening. I'm really excited for next week. We got some awesome stuff in store next week, and so we'll see you all then.
With Disadvantage is hosted by our Dungeon Master Chev, starring P. Jitty, Dakota, Rainbow Kitten, Mirima, Evil Lord Boris, Bunsen Gyro, Deranged Plague, and sometimes Codeman. Recorded by Chev, editing by DJ Catface. Dungeons & Dragons is the property of Wizards of the Coast. Executive produced by ChevTech.